How long should you practice guitar as a beginner? Is it 10 minutes? An hour? Every spare second you can find? The truth is, most beginners either overdo it and burn out, or underdo it and give up. But here's the secret. If you acclimate to a consistent practice schedule, you'll sound better faster without losing your mind. In this video, I'll break down the perfect beginner practice schedule that helps you build a habit, avoid burnout, and actually get better in a way that's sustainable. Trying to practice too much too soon can lead to frustration and inevitably burnout. On the flip side, inconsistent practice means slow progress, which can be demotivating. So what's the solution? Consistency. Not hours at a time, just short, focused sessions every day, with breaks. That is the first major hurdle you face as a beginner. Not strumming, not chord changes, just showing up. Building a habit takes time, like 20 to 30 days of sticking to a regular schedule. Which is why, at the start, it's better to practice for short periods of time every day than it is to practice for hours, like once a week. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't wait for inspiration to strike, you just do it. Another thing that every beginner guitarist needs to understand is that you don't get better while you practice. You get better after, when you're asleep. Let me tell you about something I call the Mario effect. When I was a young boy, me and my friends, we'd stay up late into the night playing games like Sonic or Mario. Games that require you to do a very specific set of moves with very precise timing, much like playing the guitar. We'd get stuck, we'd try it over and over and over again, fail, go to bed frustrated. Then the next morning, wake up and nail it on the first try. Why? Because part of the learning process happens while you're asleep. That's when your brain really absorbs everything you practice during the day. So it's not how much you practice, it's how much you practice and then sleep. Practice and then sleep. Now that we've talked about how consistency and sleep play a role, let's talk about the dangers of overdoing it, just real quick. Overpracticing can overload your brain, just like overwatering a plant. Too much water will overwhelm the roots, and too much practice will drown your progress. Totally unrelated, but have you ever noticed how a neuron kinda looks like a plant? Weird, huh? Your brain needs time and sleep to absorb all of that information. So if you give it too much to process, it won't take it all in. And all that time you spent practicing will be a waste. And it doesn't just hurt mentally, there's also physical fatigue. Stiff fingers and sore fingertips, that can all make practicing more painful than fun. Nobody wants to dread picking up their guitar. So don't stress about trying to learn everything overnight. Progress happens gradually, and that's okay. So based off of everything we've been talking about, if you're just starting out, here's how I'd set up my practice schedule if I were you. You gotta look at it this way. You're about to start a lifelong journey with this instrument. There's no need to rush into it. You should just spend the first couple months acclimating to this thing becoming a regular part of your life. You want to ease into it like a hot tub, not cannonball in and shock the system. Takes about 3 weeks to build a habit, so I would just spend the first 3 weeks playing for like 5 to 10 minutes, 4 days a week, with 3 separated days off in between. Something that looks like this. Just getting it in your hands, fiddling around with it. We're really just practicing. You have to get used to taking time out of your day to do this regularly. Once you've done that for 3 weeks, you'll be pretty used to grabbing your guitar and going off into another room and practicing for a bit. So for the next 3 weeks, I'd add another day and double the time. It'd be 5 days a week, 10 to 20 minutes of practice with 2 separated days off, like this. And then after building that habit for 3 weeks, I'd move up to the standard 30 minutes a day, 6 days a week. But stick to that for 3 weeks before trying to go longer than 30 minutes. But when all's said and done, it will have been 2 months of acclimating. Practicing won't feel like such an event. It won't feel so awkward to hold this thing anymore. You'll have a really solid foundation, and you will have overcome the first actual hurdle a beginner faces. Nice work. Now maybe try 45 minutes or an hour, 5 hours, whatever. And down the road, when you get really consistent with your practice schedule, I strongly encourage taking a week off every once in a while. I literally can't tell you how many times I've seen a good student come back from a week-long vacation playing smoother and more automatically than they ever have just because they took a week to let everything settle. I swear, taking a week off can do wonders for your playing, but only if you've been practicing regularly. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's just progress. So stick to this schedule and you'll see the consistent progress you want to see while avoiding all of the risks of overpracticing. And don't forget to celebrate all those small victories along the way. Well, now that we've talked about how long to practice, in the next commonly asked questions video, we'll talk about what you should practice in the first few months, and I'll show you how I'd set up my practice routines. So if you want more videos like this, or want some guided practice sessions to help you get better at playing the guitar, then click some of these buttons. Yeah, these ones. This one's right here. Right there. There's one right here. No, right here. Click these buttons. There's also buttons down here. Click those buttons. Yeah, click these buttons.